We did it.
Hello, everyone, people of all ages, everyone in the sound of my voice. Welcome to the Totally Legitimate Business Podcast. I am your co-host, Clint, and depending on the perspective of your screen, to my left is the co-host, James.
We did it. Here we are. We did it. Here we are.
If you're joining us for the first time, welcome. We just talk about scams and all kinds of weird shit that's going on in the world. And if you're joining us again, hey, thank you so much. Send money.
Please. Please.
Well, James, what's been going on in your world, bub?
Nothing too much, just the regular plodding grind. Nothing too crazy. I will say, I feel like it never goes away. I feel like it's always just like this strange subtext, but a lot of Nazi talk recently, a lot of just Nazi talk everywhere I look, and the more I think about it, the more I look back, and there's always a fucking Nazi documentary being suggested to me or recommended to me. It's like always this strange subtopic, but I feel like it's something everyone's a little afraid to talk about because of the obvious connotations.
So you're going to go straight into Nazis. You're not even going to ask me how I'm doing. You know who else did that? Hitler.
Wow. You're comparing me to Hitler. Wow. This is already off to a really good start.
No,
you were just asking me how I was doing, and I was telling you how I felt, and that's how you fucking.
What is it?
That's how you come back at me.
1940 again?
No, please God, no.
Well, I'm doing good, and I hope all the Nazis are doing bad.
Yeah.
No, you're right. I've seen a bunch of weird stuff popping up, and it's not blatant like swastikas and like SS stuff, but it does seem like adjacent white supremacist adjacent things are becoming like a hot topic in the news and just in like pop culture right now, and it's weirding me out a little bit. Like I thought that was
no, go ahead.
No, I'm saying I thought that was kind of on its way out, right? With all the wokeness and just our generation kind of being like, yeah, everyone's cool, whatever. Like,
well, I mean, to be fair, not everyone's like that, right?
True.
A lot of the generation now is like that, but there's at least a portion of them that are just like the old generation. We thought they were going to die off, but here we got another whole generation of them. But I also feel like
we live on the coasts, everyone in the middle.
Yeah. For sure.
Look,
yeah.
You just need to see some water and things will just make a lot more sense. Like
you just need a little bit of sand beneath your toes. You're not connecting to the earth. That's the problem. I feel like it comes in waves too. Like as there's a topic about, obviously like the big one right now would be hate speech on Twitter and Kanye West, his recent anti-Semitic tirades. Right. And I feel like every time there's some kind of story like this, all of a sudden, I don't know if it's just my vision becomes more focused on it, but then I see just like on the periphery of everything, just more Nazi content, more conversations of Nazi talk. And, some of it's to discourage Nazi talk, but talking about discouraging Nazi talk is still talking about Nazi talk. I don't know. It's just an observation I noticed. And I know that the Kanye West thing has been kind of dominating the headlines, and that's obviously why that conversation is a current thing, because it's currently playing out. I don't know what all you've heard about that, but what are your thoughts? You're not telling me that you haven't heard anything about.
No, of course I have. I'm one of those people that's just like, if I don't like something, I'm not going to give it power.
Right. You don't even engage.
Like a logical thing to do, right? Like, because there's no such thing as bad press, right? And it seems like people haven't quite figured that out yet, especially with somebody like Kanye West. Because like I'm not gonna lie, James, you and I, old Kanye West, we've listened to it a bunch,
dude, absolutely,
together. Like, dude,
absolutely.
like
Shamelessly,
the first like probably like 3 albums are just like fucking
Yeah,
fantastic.
those were on
right?
constant rotation for sure,
But
100%.
in order to be like talked about, you have to do something that's polarizing, or because no matter what, if somebody's talking about you, your name is still going to trend on
Well,
Twitter. Your
what I
your
was just
Google hits
saying.
are going to go
Yeah.
up. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it just and to be honest, I don't even know what that I know he's been saying like anti-Semitic things apparently. I have no idea exactly what it is because I just haven't been paying attention. I
It's
have seen the fucked up pictures of him like wearing the mask and like all
it,
camo and like pretty much like dressing like a
I mean,
modern skinhead dude. So it's
kinda, yeah.
okay.
Paramilitary. There's some paramilitary vibes for sure coming off of him right now.
Yeah, what exactly has he been saying?
He said a whole host of shit. I obviously not. I don't have any of his quotes in front of me, but a lot of the conversation, the initial thing that people were losing their fucking minds over. He went on this show called Drink Champs, which is a very popular like rap centric show. These two older rappers interview all people from, young to old to legends to newcomers. And he went on there. He's been on there a bunch, but he went on there this time and really went down the tirade of, Jewish people in his mind controlling the media and controlling the music industry. And that has been a conversation for a very long time that's also kind of run in tandem to the Illuminati, the entertainment Illuminati conversation, conspiracy. A lot of that, it's this the fucking tired the Jews control the world thing, that the conspiracy that has just like been rehashed since every time they wanted to make Jews a scapegoat of something, the origins of that go way like Greco-Roman times. We're talking about deep-seated cultural hatred, and I don't know exactly. I can't remember exactly where I was going with this, but he starts spouting off this tired, repeated fucking. It's not even original. I feel like he went to fucking InfoWars and read a couple articles, and then it's just so strange to this is some fringe theory shit. Like, you have to be in the depths of incel 4chan to find a lot of this conversation being spoken about, in volume to where you can get a context for it. And it's like, you don't just stumble upon this shit, right? They're not talking about this.
Is 4chan still a thing? I heard it got shut down.
I'm sure something else has taken its place. 8chan, who the fuck cares?
Yeah,
whatever fucking new incel website exists.
So Jews control the media,
and
he's just going off about that, about how he's not getting paid enough or whatever, he's getting ignored. Whatever.
There's this concerted effort against him, but I just, it's so like, it's so out of character. Like, he hasn't said this at any other point in his career, and just all of a sudden right now he's doubling down on a very fringe and specific conspiracy theory. It's just like, dude, it's just clear he's unwell, right? It's clear that mentally he's going through it. There's a lot of emotions that are not properly being processed, and they're manifesting themselves as all these fucking stupid behaviors he's been.
I mean, that's kind of how that shit goes, though. I think there was some, I don't know if it was kind of like a documentary, not really, but it was kind of like a played out documentary of how, I think it was like something on like Netflix a while back that just kind of showed the process of how people kind of get into that a little bit, where it's like, oh, they're just bored on the internet and they feel like whatever, things aren't well. So they just, get on message boards and find places where they belong. And it kind of turns into like this kid end up going to a rally and getting arrested or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I remember that. I remember that on Netflix.
That makes a lot of sense. And
yeah,
I mean, yeah, dude, when you're that famous, you're not a real normal person. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
you're not.
There's nowhere
Yeah.
where nobody is judging you. And it takes like the strongest mind to be able to like keep doing you authentically, without having that. Because even if he's saying, oh, well, this is just me, screw it, it's like, no, but like people have forced you into like thinking this way, right? Like, I don't know. Yeah, that's such a fucking weird thing. I don't know.
It's just
I try
a
to pay
super strange
attention to
pivot
like that, because it's like people, well, dude, and like every time I still have a Facebook and shit. Every time I get on, it's just like I just see people's freaking out about Elon Musk or him or whatever. It's like, if you think that for a second that any of you are going to bring that person down in any way by talking about it, all you're doing is bringing them up, because you're literally just bringing them up. Like, here's a blank canvas. Oh, I'm going to bring up this person. Like, you're not taking them down. You're literally bringing them up.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know. It seems really silly to me, but it did get me thinking. James, you're of Hebrew descent, correct?
Yes. From my mother's side. Yes.
You are the main audio engineer for this podcast, right?
I sure am. Yeah.
You have all the passwords.
I sure do, buddy. You can call me the gatekeeper.
Yeah. So Jews control the totally legitimate business podcast.
Yeah, that is 100% certified. Yeah, that's 100% verifiable. Yeah, it's just it was such a stupid, again, like in the context of his long form meltdown, it was just like the dumbest departure. And again, it's like such a hyper specific thing. Like, he's not, you got to get down a strange fucking rabbit hole to be being subjected to any information like that. Like, you don't just stumble upon that searching YouTube, right? And it's just so weird. It's so weird that, like, Mel Gibson, all right, that makes sense. Kanye West didn't see it coming. Just didn't see it coming. And I don't care either way. I'm the same way as you.
Sense? I mean, yeah, I guess so.
Yeah. No, dude, Passion of the Christ.
Oh yeah,
Passion of the Christ.
Again, like, once things are like so in that like world, I'm like, I'm not even gonna pay attention to that shit. I did see Passion of the Christ though. I watched it. I saw it.
And again, like, that movie is what it is, but that
one man's
combined
amazing journey.
No. Yeah, that combined with one man's amazing meltdown.
Yeah,
drunken meltdown. It just gives a whole new context on it. But and I just feel like there's waves. I barely remember this from when I was a kid in the 90s, but I remember the whole fucking neo-Nazi paramilitary Oklahoma City bombing, like that. When the conversation of neo-Nazis was kind of focusing around that. And this is kind of a sideways thought, but some old person when I was a kid was watching I was watching TV, and some old person, I can't remember if they were like a family friend or like one of my older relatives, I landed on the History Channel, and he goes, "Oh, you're watching the Hitler Channel, huh?" And it didn't make sense to me when I was a kid, but as I got older, you know how much of the History Channel's content before Ancient Aliens was all about Nazis and Hitler.
Well, like, now even now they're like, even now they're like, the Nazis
are the aliens Nazis?
Yeah, we're the Nazis communicating with aliens. Like,
it's so obnoxious, dude.
Yeah,
it's so obnoxious.
All that. Again, it's like, I try not to talk about things like that just because it's podcast bait is what it is. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
But at the same time, yeah, clearly, like, that dude doesn't seem like he's doing well. Kanye, friend of the pod. No, I'm just kidding. I have no context as to what the fuck.
Please don't even encourage him to become a fan of this podcast, please. I'd rather have no fans than one fan of Kanye West.
Haven't listened to an album in a while. I don't know what's going on over there.
Well, that's the thing. That's the thing.
But that's how he's getting. I feel like it's like a charade. It's a charade. It's how he's getting clicks.
A charade. Oh, sorry. It very well may be. It like you were saying, he understands that he's backed into a corner, and he's got to increasingly dial up the crazy behavior in order to keep the attention, because everything he's done over the course of the past year or two has just been so fucking ridiculous. And it's like, he's running out of, that's what it is to me. When I see that means he's running out of steam. Either he's getting to the end of, he thought he was going to be able to finesse this into regaining all his power and then some, and it's not playing out. So he's just getting desperate and grabbing at straws. And that's one of the only straws he has left, is to bring up the Jewish media controlling conspiracy.
You know how you always make that analogy of how, like, politics or like whatever, it's like, it's all like sports, right? It's just like, here's my team, here's my, so I'll bring it to the world of sports entertainment, which is like professional wrestling.
something everyone can get behind. You know what I mean?
It's good. It's, it's built from carnivals. It's a classic American thing. It's like, it's how we operate.
Yeah.
But, think about it. There's always good guys and bad guys, right? Everybody likes the good guys, but they're so much fucking less interesting, right? Like they're just like, hey, I'm here, like Hulk Hogan, and be like, I'm the real American hero, and I'm the Hulkster for the kids, and like whatever. But the bad guys always just had deeper stories, and like, but they had to keep doubling down on it and do the most ridiculous shit in order to keep getting those ratings. And that's what it is, right? Like, you think like the dude who played the Iron Sheik, like the Middle Eastern guy, it's like, do you really think he was like, oh yeah, death to Americans in real life? He was probably like, no, dude, like, I tour America. This place is rules. I have a
I'm
job.
from
Like,
Akron.
he's straight up.
exactly.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, my family's from like Iran or whatever. I don't know. You know what I mean? It's like, but they have to double down on shit. So every time they come out, he's like spitting on an American flag or like doing whatever. I know nowadays isn't like that big of a deal because everyone in like fucking Portland does it. But like, you know what I mean? Like, it's back in the day that was just like the thing you had to do, so they had to keep up leveling it. And it's like, that's why like things like wrestling got so crazy, because if you remember in like the late 90s, it was just like, oh yeah, now he's sleeping with his wife, or it's like some crazy,
it
like,
became soap opera. Soap opera-y.
Straight up. And I feel like it's, and maybe not to that extent, because it might be some like real life, mental illness shit, but like those people have fame and fortune and money, and they're trying, they have to hoard it. Like it becomes a drug, right? Like you have to keep the same amount or keep getting more. And that's just what it is. So if something's not working, like sometimes you have to double down on it to be that bad guy wrestler to like get that attention. Cause even if it's negative attention, again, like you're bringing it up on Facebook, right? Like everybody's just typing about shit. And it's like, why are you even typing about it? If you hate it, like, fuck off, dude. Why don't you disappear into oblivion where all other things I don't like go, and eventually once they're out of the zeitgeist, they become irrelevant. And then you know how much power they have? Fucking zero.
Yeah.
Zero power. I don't know.
Well, that's always been my argument too. Like, if some artist does some scumbaggy, disrespectful, and unforgivable thing, I just don't listen to their music ever again. And it's happened to plenty of artists. There's plenty of artists, visual, film, and TV and music, who I have learned personally were just horrible people. And to me, that's always been the actual way to, especially to someone like that, to make a point. Don't consume their shit. Don't contribute to their streams. Don't contribute to the continuation of whatever it is there's, because whatever music they were selling you, it was a fucking lie. They're clearly not like that.
Or it was just there the whole time, and you were just like, oh, that's real.
Yeah. Right,
oh, wait, the guy singing about being crazy is actually crazy.
Right.
Right. Well, I mean, did we encounter that?
How could we have seen this coming?
Yeah, dude. Well, I know you and I have been in the metal world for a long time, and I know I'd probably go down like the hardcore hole a little bit more than you do, but like that's been a big thing because it's such a small, like niche, tight knit kind of community that like once something comes out about a person, like even if it's like a band on the rise or something, it's just like, you're blacklisted, my dude. You can't play any of our venues. You can't do any of the shit. And it's like, I think that's sick how you like police your scene.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I totally get how people can try to separate art from the artist, but there's got to be a line, right? Like let's, again, talking about some shit that I don't fucking care about that much, but like I know there's been like a Pantera reunion. You remember Pantera, right?
Oh God, yeah.
Walk. What do you say?
You talking to me?
Yeah, and if anyone's not familiar, Pantera is like one of the top selling metal artists of the 90s. They were like a 4-piece from Texas, just really like kind of honestly like help redefine the genre a little bit, but they're just super heavy, like crazy guitars. It's just kind of their thing, like working man metal shit, right? It wasn't like glam metal. It was like, this is the real working like Stone Cold Steve Austin shit, right? We're drinking beers and we're
open up a can of whoop ass. Yeah.
But so it's like, obviously really big in like the South and honestly like all over the world, right? They just got super huge. But some, I guess shit came out, and it's not like they weren't rocking fucking Confederate flag guitars and shit back in the day. They were, but I don't think like in the late 90s, I don't think people were like connecting that to the fact like, oh, that's racism.
It was still heritage back then.
Yeah, dude, and I grew up in Alabama. That shit was all around me. But I was like, I don't know if I'm with this vibe, my guy. Like, even
Yep.
like, dude, I have pictures of Rob Zombie, like from like old magazines with like Confederate flag belt buckles, and it's like they're like, yeah, we're just fighting the power. It's like, yeah, but how are you fighting the power, my guy?
What
Like,
power?
yeah, right.
What
White power?
Yeah, what power are
Ugh.
you fighting for?
But I mean, anyways, a couple of dudes in Pantera died, and they haven't done a show in like
A
forever.
couple dudes, I think you're really skipping over. If you're telling people who Pantera is, I think you skipping over Dimebag and
Okay,
Vinny's.
of course. Okay, so Dimebag Darrell is like
Let's fucking
legendary.
unpack this a little bit at least.
He got shot on stage. So Pantera kind of did like a hiatus thing. I don't know if they're officially broken up. They might have been, but like hiatus breakup thing, whatever. Crazy dude came up and like shot him at a show, like in front of everybody, which is like fucking wild. A lot of people freaked out, obviously, because like everybody like liked that guy. Is like they were a gateway band for a lot of like dudes to learn how to play guitar, and girls, everybody. Like he was just a metal kind of figure. His guitar tone was crazy, solos were nuts, whatever.
He was iconic in the sense that in the same way you listen to Van Halen, you know it's Van Halen. You listen to Dimebag, you know it's Dimebag.
Yeah, a lot of people in their like 30s and above were like, that was one of their gateways into actual, like, if you're into like heavy metal, that was like getting into it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Either way, dude got shot. It was a whole big deal. They all have all these different spin-off bands and do all, just different Southern metal kind of stuff. And then a couple years ago, I think it was maybe 2018, I think his brother, the original drummer, died. So it didn't seem like any kind of Pantera reunion was ever going to happen. Right now, they decided they're going to come back with like Zakk Wylde, and I forget who the drummer is, but he's been in like a ton of notable bands like of like 90s, 2000s metal. He's a solid player, right? So they're announcing all these dates, like opening up for Metallica, which is like the biggest fucking deal, right? Of just rock music, right?
Yeah, sure.
And people are freaking out, but like it's and then there's some people like in the comment sections being like, yeah, fuck that white supremacist guy. And it's like, oh yeah, do you guys not remember that there's video of the lead singer of Pantera like literally doing a Heil Hitler and saying like, tonight's a white thing, white power, like screaming that to an audience. And it's already like kind of like you're like iffy about him anyways. It's like, okay, you live in like Louisiana, you hang out with these guys that are kind of sketchy, you look like a skinhead, you're probably fucking like whatever.
You fit the fucking description, buddy.
Yeah. And then him coming out and doing that. And then he's like, oh, I was saying his excuse for it was that he was like, oh, I'm sorry that you can't handle it. I was drinking white wine that night and it was an inside joke. And it was like, you did it in front of an auditorium full of people. You don't just scream white power, my dude. But either way, I guess that sin is forgivable and it's gone away enough now that he's like, oh, here we're going to come back and cash in. It's like, no, dude, I'm not going to support some fucking Nazi shit. Like, fuck you, dude. I don't care. I don't care if that song was dope when I was 14 years old.
Yeah,
like,
right. Exactly.
I'm good on that. I'm good on that. It's
irrelevant. Yeah, I feel the same way. I remember watching the whole Phil Anselmo thing play out as it was happening and being like, oh, well, I guess I never have to listen to Pantera again.
Yeah. And then
it's fine.
It was like, and then they always had like, the signs were there, right? Because they always just had
dude.
It was like a busty woman with like weed plants over her nipples with a Confederate flag and flames in the background. And then you like take a step back and look at it and you're like, oh, okay, yeah, you guys have been about that shit, huh? Like,
forever.
This isn't just
forever.
This isn't some Kanye West situation where it's like, I got famous and crazy. It's like, oh, you're just
that's just who they are. Yeah, really. That's what it boils down to. That's what it boils down to. From my time, I was born in Mississippi. I lived in Florida for a very long time.
I didn't know you were born in Mississippi.
Born in Mississippi, Starkville, Mississippi, buddy.
Bro, that's where my family's from. It's crazy.
Really? Starkville, Mississippi?
No, not Starkville.
Just Mississippi. Okay.
We're from McGee, Mississippi. Like literally.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, no, dude, no joke.
The G's from McGee.
We'll go into that offline, dude. It's a whole thing. It's a whole thing.
But yeah, I was never into it. I was never into classic rock and Southern rock and the fucking Confederate flag. It's just not something that ever resonated with me. It was something I made fun of. Right? It was when I saw that, it was an immediate sign that you're a fucking moron. You know what I remember the Confederates as? The fucking losers. They're the fucking losers is who they are. And if you're for the fucking losers, your team fucking sucks. You're a fucking loser.
Sports.
Yeah, seriously, sports. I was never into it. Like, I knew who Pantera was. I never owned a Pantera record because they had a fucking redneck ass, hick ass mentality baked in from the cover to the end of the record. It was just never a thing. And even when I lived in Nebraska, like the whole redneck thing, that's big out there too, not just country music, but like Five Finger Death Punch, hell yeah, like
Red State rock.
Southern rock, like what fucking Aaron Lewis has turned into, the guy from Stained.
Yeah.
It was something that you always made fun of. I remember even in middle school when like they were trying to cram Drowning Pool down our throat and like Disturbed and Godsmack and all those bands. I listened to those bands and I was like, this shit sounds
you're lying
racist.
if you're telling me
it sounds racist.
If you didn't own that Disturbed CD, you're a fucking liar.
I didn't.
If you didn't own 100%. Are you kidding me?
100% did not. The Sickness, nope. The album before that, nope.
There was an album before that? Oh, I'm sure there was.
Yeah. It wasn't, I don't know. It wasn't nearly as big as The Sickness, but I didn't own that record. I never did, and I never needed to, because it was just the same thing with Drowning Pool. Like I was listening to it and I was like, this is too simple. This to me seems like a pop song with distorted guitars. And I wasn't that wrong.
I just counting and then saying nothing wrong. He's like, what?
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with me.
No, seriously. That could have been a fucking, in a different decade, that would have been a pop song. And Disturbed for sure. Look at what Disturbed has become. They're more of a pop band than they are a metal band.
I don't even.
They're hard rock at best.
For sure. I just remember I like that when I was like 13, and I actually went to go see a tour that was Disturbed and Drowning Pool. And
me too. No, I saw that. It's the one where he got
Music
gassed.
is a Weapon tour.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
He got gassed. David Draymond gets gassed at the very beginning of the set.
And Edema opened up.
Yep, dude, for sure. I absolutely went to that show in Nebraska. Yeah, for sure. That's hilarious.
Yeah.
There was another band. There was another band that was like of that time and era.
Was it Taproot? It was somebody
maybe
like
Taproot or Head PE or somebody like that.
Yeah,
but that was a fun tour. I didn't like Disturbed,
14,
but their show was epic as hell. Like their production was, I was like, holy shit, this is amazing.
Oak Mountain Amphitheater in Birmingham, Alabama. Shout out.
Outdoor, nice.
It was an amphitheater, baby.
Yeah, well.
But yeah, dude, no, I mean that. And I don't know, like they didn't have like blatant racist shit.
They weren't overtly bad, but it's just it was really the people that I saw listening to Disturbed were also the people who would would have the Confederate flags, or who would be totally comfortable with saying some fucking Nazi shit, or like getting a swastika tattooed ironically or unironically on them. You know what I mean? Like that's the kind of people I saw listening to him. So I was like, I don't want to touch that at all.
That's like honestly what drove me into getting into like punk rock more, of just like, because like that was like the gateway, right? So it's like I heard the Pantera, I heard the Disturbed because I saw it in like magazines, and it was like all over the MTV and everything, right?
Sure, yeah.
And as you kind of get into I was just like,
it's massive.
I don't know about these dudes. And then of course, like I know like punk isn't obviously like a shining example of how to be a great human, but it was like it. Well, but it's for me, and it's like, oh, you it's like you're nihilist, you're against everything. You also don't like Nazis.
Yeah, I was gonna say
I'm into that. Yeah,
it's a genre that is very vocal about its
and you have
cool
stance. Hair. And your hair is cool.
Yeah,
I'm fucking in.
Yeah, I'll put up with your smell. It's fine.
Either way, dude. I mean, like, I get it. Like, and I know, like, I even have friends that are still just like stoked about Pantera. Like, that's just been their favorite band for like 13. But I never got into it, so it's a lot easier for me to disconnect. But like, I don't know. I think once somebody does something like that, where they're literally like saying white power shit, I'm just like, nah, dude. Like,
I don't want any part of it. Yeah.
And it wasn't even some kind of like rapper breakdown thing where he's trying to be the bad guy wrestler. I think that was literally because it was like a film from a show. This is like when people started
for sure.
It,
honestly, he checks too many of the boxes.
Yeah.
Right. And even so, if you check that many of the boxes, why would you want to give anyone that idea? Why would you even want people to think that me, a bald head redneck guy, is going to say white power and, you know, the Hitler salute, and no one's going to read into that? Like, it's just stupid. Like, please.
Yeah.
Fuck you. I've zero problem not supporting you because you're stupid.
Exactly. And like, dude, like whatever, like respect what they did for music and got people into metal and like whatever. And I even like some of like their like side project shit, but I was like, well, I don't really have to listen to that anymore, I guess. Because that was also 20 years old and somebody's done something to up level that by now,
yeah,
right?
For sure.
I don't know. But again, it's just like that's just another example of like just weird Nazi shit that I see going on. But like again, all these companies are sponsoring, right? Like they're sponsoring the Pantera Metallica tour. And it's like Liquid Death and shit. But it's just that's a paycheck, dude. That's a paycheck.
There's also like, this is like really stretching it because I don't know if there's like a ton of documented evidence, but there's like a fair amount of people on the internet who have reason to believe that Metallica is in some way like subtly that's like a whole other conspiracy. But it's just funny that you say that. Like, I wonder how easy for Pantera was it to say like, oh, don't believe any of that. That's not real. They say the same thing about Metallica.
I don't think he does interviews anymore because he knows he's gonna say something fucking stupid.
That's what I'm saying. Like that's not a coincidence. There's a direct correlation between the things, and it wasn't just that show. He did some interviews where he said like some overtly Nazi stuff. Yeah. And that's when people made a big fucking deal about it. But yeah, like, you know, 5 years passed, people I guess forgave him or forgot about it. And forgot. You know, it is what it is. Another one that always took me out of it always fucked me up was black metal. When the fucking black metal guys go Nazi, you're like, oh, you motherfucking, I thought you were a nihilist. I thought you were a fucking nihilist. And you're telling me you're really a fascist. Please get the fuck out of my face. You, sir, are a fucking imposter. You do not belong on that mountain.
I saw some like stupid meme on the internet today, which is like, black metal is just racist emo.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Dude, it's painful, right? Like, because I really like black metal. Like I like a lot of that stuff. I know it's like the quality shitty and whatever, but it's like at a certain point, it's like that's the most antisocial that you can get because it's like fuck everything. And again, once everything kind of turns into a formula, and then it's just some nerds in the woods with like painted faces and a cloak being like, you know, like doing just like the 16 other people did before them,
right?
Whatever. But no, there is like that is a thing, and I have to be. To be into the kind of music that we're into, you kind of have to, if you have virtues, you kind of have to look into things a little bit. You can't just take things at face value.
Well,
right?
And the other thing is I find a lot of people have no problem separating the art from the artist. I can't do that. Right.
There's a line for me somewhere.
For me, because I create so much, I connect with the things that people have created a little bit more. It's more than just the thing they created. I am immediately drawn into who they are and the other things that they've done, right? And I feel emotionally invested after spending that time, like connecting with the things that this person created. And it is a blow to find out they have said or done something that doesn't align with you morally. But I've never had a problem being like, well, all right, I thought we had an emotional connection here, but I guess we don't, and that's okay. So I don't ever have to support you again. And black metal, the black metal shit, it pissed me off so much with the black metal shit because it's like your whole thing. I thought we agreed here. It all needs to be destroyed. I thought we agreed. Everything. I thought we agreed on that. That everything must be destroyed. And you're telling me you want to fucking pull in some Nazi shit.
Destroy something a little less than something else?
Bro, you're not what you said you are. You are a little turd. And you do not... impress me at all.
like I was saying, it's like you have to, if you're into that kind of stuff, which is like I admit I still am, but you have to like vet shit, right? If you have any kind of values to like what you're getting into, like for example, I'll hear like, and I won't like say names and shit just because I don't want to fucking give them power, right? But like I'll find some band and be like, oh, this is cool, like French black metal band, but they're always French. I don't understand why. But then it's like cool, I'm like into it, and then like I'll think about it, I'm like I'll go back to listen to it again, and then there's always that thing in me if I have a second, like if I'm like working on a computer, I'm like, I'm gonna type the name of this band and erase this really quick.
Yeah,
just
let's
see
Google it.
Dude. And then sure enough, it's like, yeah, this guy is a member of this band, which is like, and it seems like a bunch of those dudes, because they're all like one man like projects with kind of like hired guns. It seems like they all just kind of hang out together and just do Nazi shit. And don't get me wrong, I mean, some of them, like some of those dudes have like kind of come out on the other side where they're like, yeah, I was associated with those guys because that was like the scene, but he was like, I'm not about that. And like it kind of reflects after a while, but like somebody like Pantera hasn't really shown that. You know what I mean?
For sure.
Like
for sure.
We're not like, he's not bringing a fucking up and coming African-American hardcore band on tour with him or something. You know what I'm saying? Like,
and it's also super interesting too, because like I've watched just about every possible black metal documentary, like proper documentary that's been made on any of the big black metal originators and
Until the Light Takes Us and all that shit.
Yeah, definitely that one. There was another one that was just about Dark Throne, really. And in that one, it gave me a unique insight. The guy who's the primary force behind Dark Throne isn't particularly, he's not particularly anti-Semitic. I don't think there's any documented record of him aligning with that. He was of the mindset too. It's like, I'm with these people. I don't agree with that, and that's why I went my own complete direction.
Yeah. But he's like, that's what there's 20 black metal bands. I'm gonna get compared to fucking
watching. Well, and it's funny, watching him give interviews about the latest Dark Throne record. It was interesting watching him in his mind trying to say the most obnoxious thing that would offend and be more brutal than the other 20 people who are releasing their black metal record. Like he was like, it's music that's going to make you want to kill yourself, and you're going to want to kill yourself very brutally. But like you're watching, like it's the same thing that Kanye West is doing, right? It's the same thing. Let me just say the most obnoxious shit. It's gonna make you want to fucking blow your brains out and jump out of a building while you explode simultaneously. Like what is the most obnoxious thing that I can say that's gonna offend or disrupt people as quickly as possible?
Right.
You know,
it's some bad guy wrestler shit. That's all it is.
Yeah, 100%.
And all you idiots, and the people go, "Oh no, not in my town, get out of here! I'm not a dumb redneck." Oh, like,
but you are.
We all are.
We all are. We all are.
You were born in Mississippi. You can't.
Yeah,
say
dude.
shit.
I'm 100%. Like I am from the fucking woods for sure. It does not. That mentality is not something that's new to me. It's not something that I ever liked, and I don't miss it, even though that mentality still exists in New York. In some ways, this city is the most racist place I've ever lived, but it's just because there's way more people and way more things for people to hate, I guess. In the South, you know, the hatred is rather simple. There's not much meaning to it. It's just, it exists and people just don't want to fucking die and forget about it.
Yeah. There's just a lot more things to kind of keep you humble, I guess, in a place where you're not just sitting around with people that are just like you on some open land, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, we're all in this together, right?
That's what everyone seems to forget. That's you know, a whole other fucking tirade. That's my biggest problem with the shit that I see in the news, because I see all the things that were presented, especially now. It's just to polarize. That's the way our society responds to shit now. It has to be polarizing. You have to be one or the other. It has to be split. Everything has turned into fucking sports now. Every single aspect of modern life in this world is you're either with us or you're against us. You're either on our team or you're our fucking enemy, man. And my thing is, you know, if it's going to be that way, fine. But I'm not going to be ignorant to my enemy. And that's a thing that I feel like a lot of people, they think that by not paying attention to something, you're taking away its power. No, you're letting it get stronger and not knowing how it's getting stronger. That's why, in my opinion, these things are important to talk about, because it's important to keep the context of why it's stupid, why it's not welcome in society now, and why it is not welcome in the society as we move forward into the future.
Dude, I'll bring it back to like, here's another like weird little music scene thing like recently. So you're aware of the band Hatebreed, right?
Of course.
Dude, one of my all-time favorites. The band just fucking rules. For anybody who's unfamiliar, it's just like overcoming your problems gym music, right? Just kind of metal hardcore stuff. Like straight up, it's what all their songs are just about, like defeating your enemies and like, overcoming.
Totally right. I will be heard. Yeah, exactly.
Look in the mirror and that's your enemy. Defeat them, you know, like overcome, whatever. It's just overcome gym music, right?
Yeah.
There is some, I went to go see them recently. It fucking ripped, by the way. They played like an old album all the way through. And I just like, I came out of Mosh retirement. It was fantastic. Also got COVID at that show from all the fucking weird mouth breathers there. But
there you go, buddy.
Either way, there was like some video that went viral on all like the metal sites where I guess there was kind of bringing it back to you not being ignorant and actually like forcefully trying to push those things out of you. Like, no, we don't stand for this, right? Like we don't stand for your Nazi shit. There was a bunch of people in the crowd like yelling at the singer, like, there's a Nazi here, kick him out, he's a Nazi, kick him out. And then he was just like, okay, well, like obviously Nazis aren't welcome at our shows. What the fuck are you guys gonna do about it? Like, this is hardcore. You police your scene. Right. You know, it's like if there's one Nazi, how many of you are there? He's like, there's fucking like hundreds of you. Kick that fucking Nazi out yourself. What the fuck am I supposed to do? I'm like, I'm up on stage. You kick that fucking Nazi's ass.
I'm here.
Like,
I'm here working. You handle
and then
this
obviously,
business.
you know, he had to get to that point where he was like, hey, dude, get the fuck out. Nobody wants you here. Get the fuck out. Boo, whatever. He was like, hey, like, this is about you policing your scene. It's not up to me. He's like, I'm traveling through. You know, he's like, if you don't like
my say ends tonight.
Yeah, exactly. Right. And like, I don't know. And again, that could be like taken some different ways where some people are like, oh, well, he didn't really stand up. But it's also like, no, man, what, like literally what the fuck is he supposed to do about it? That's not his scene. He's coming through and he says, hey, you're not welcome here. But like, if those people really didn't want that person there, there's hundreds of, you know what I'm saying? It's like, hey, 20 people around me who doesn't like the swastika dude, get the fuck out. And then you're not willing to take a punch for it. Like, if you really believe that, you take a fucking punch. And I know
thought this was hardcore.
Yeah, dude. And that's what I'm saying. It's like, this is hardcore, dude. Like, if you don't like that shit, if you don't like racism in your room, get it the fuck out of your room. Yeah. But it's also shit. That kind of music just brings those people sometimes, which fucking sucks, man. I've had to deal with it since I was like a fucking kid, dude. Like going to punk shows in Alabama and like being scared when the skinhead dudes show up. Like, I'm like 13. I can't fight anybody.
Yeah. You know, I you know, it's something that's it's just like they're already the outcasts, right? So they're gonna if they want to consume music, they're gonna obviously gravitate to the outcast music. It just sucks because you're like, oh, I enjoy this thing, and then you look over and you're in the club and you're like, oh, that guy has a huge fucking SS emblem tattooed on his neck. Great, now I can't listen to this fucking band anymore. Can't come to these shows because I don't want to be around that. I'm not that deep on the off on the fringe, really. I'm not hanging on that level. You know, but by that, what the fuck is that noise?
Sorry, I don't know what the fuck. Give me 2 seconds.
That is hilarious. It's been happening the whole time.
It's some like Bluetooth thing. Hold on.
This is for future's sake. Clint, you can't hear this right now because I'm just talking, but I was like,
damn, dude, I kept hearing it too, and I was like, I thought it was like my neighbor for a second. I think
is
that one of those lights has like a Bluetooth thing on it, and I think it was like asking to connect to the phone.
Oh yeah.
I kept hearing it, and I was like, what the fuck is that? I've never heard that before today. So
yeah, strange.
If you don't like the Bluetooth noises, get them the fuck out of your room.
Get them the fuck out of your room.
No, yeah, it's I don't know, man. It all seems like bad guy wrestler shit. And like it's separating art from artist is like is it's a thing, but like you have to draw your line and be fucking real with it. You can't
Yeah.
say like, here's my line and then be like, oh well, we'll make an exception for this
For this
person. We'll
guy,
make it.
yeah.
I don't like Kanye West, but I'm gonna go to the Pantera concert. It's like, no, dude, if you don't like anti-Semitic shit, you don't like
Yeah.
anti-Semitic shit, and there's your fucking line. And like I don't understand like why you're still going to like support that shit, like monetarily support it.
Well, dude,
Like,
everyone's going to justify it, right? They're going to have some fucking justification why they won't support this person, but will then support this person. Like, you know, everyone is on a bandwagon to cancel someone, and then I come in and start saying all the other people that should be canceled, and then people get mad. I can't tell you how many goddamn arguments I've had about I don't want to hear Michael Jackson music. I cannot tell you how many arguments.
Obviously, everybody's like, yeah, fuck a pedophile, right? Like, that's just like a general thing. It's like, that's the most thing. Like, that's what you get killed in prison for. That's what that will ruin everything, right? Gary Glitter gets played at every single fucking sports event. You know, yeah. Hey, I like boys. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Hey, yeah.
Michael Jackson gets played in every single time in the fucking grocery store.
Gary Glitter liked little girls, though.
Oh, it's little girls. Sorry.
Yeah, that was his.
Sorry. I don't want to tarnish his fucking reputation.
Right. Let's get it right, okay? Let's get it right, all right?
Either way, dude.
Yeah,
like,
you know,
draw the fucking line and stand
with it. You know, that's like, I guess what I mean to say is like I made that decision was made long ago, and I've gotten so accustomed to the practice that it's not a problem. You know, but dude, I love Bill Cosby. I loved Bill Cosby. I used to listen to his comedy records. I just like my parents had his records. I love Jello too. You know, he was just the man. And that was hard hearing about what he did. But it really wasn't that difficult to never fucking listen to Bill Cosby again. Because once you know, like once you see the thing, you can't unsee it. And for people that can see the shit and then just go about their day, I've never been one of those people. Well, and as soon as that box has been opened to me, it cannot be closed, and I have zero problem. Even if I have to completely reshape my life. Like after I found out about Bill Cosby, I didn't have anything to wake up to or go to sleep to. I had all my hypnosis Bill Cosby records. I couldn't listen to him anymore. I had to change my entire life. I had to start listening to episodes of Ancient Aliens. And here we are. And they were talking about Nazis too. You know, they were telling me about the aliens becoming Nazis or some shit.
And here we are. Yeah, that's another thing too. It's like, you know, we were just talking about a second ago about how like, oh, I can't believe the guy who plays these metal songs about being unwell is actually unwell and crazy.
Yeah.
And then people be like, oh, Michael Jackson. Yeah, he seems so normal, didn't he? He seemed like a normal person. And then it's like, and then they'll be in the grocery store and be like listening to PYT, like Pretty Young Thing. And you're like, if that doesn't make you question what the fuck was going on there, like, I don't, everything's fucked, man. Like nobody's really standing by what they say they believe. And that's what pisses me off. Like, that's what gets me to want to be very antisocial with things like, and I don't want to engage with it in a platform like Facebook or Instagram or something, because it's pointless, right? Like my time is way better spent on me and the things in my little zone that I'm going to positively impact. I'm not going to argue with some stranger about why saying white power is not cool and then going to support them 10 years later after everybody forgot. Right. So, you know, I'm just going to do my own thing. But like people really like, if you're going to draw that line, have that line and stay where you're fucking at. Like, you know what I mean? Don't be like, oh, I'll tiptoe over for this, or, oh, hopefully nobody sees me at the, you know, XYZ show, or I'm going to secretly buy this record or whatever. It's like, I mean, I'm not here to tell anybody what to do. I'm nobody's dad. I'm not a father, but like, Jesus fucking Christ, be a fucking adult. And like,
just stand on your shit. Yeah. Stand on your shit.
Yeah. That's what it is.
That's, you know, I am less concerned about what people think about me or about what I say, because I know they're going to understand by what I do. Right. That's, you can say that you don't stand for this or you don't stand for that, but unless you actually don't stand for it, you still stand for it. And the whole Hollywood, just like the child abuse, that rabbit hole, just all the people who have abused so many kids in Hollywood. That's a whole other one. For me, it's like, please, can we get the list from fucking Epstein? Please, can we know this so I can just know who not to support? Because now it's like 50-50 whether any movie I watch I'm contributing to some fucking creep's lavish lifestyle. I don't know. It's easy for me. It's super easy for me because once I find out about some sinister shit that isn't for anything that I stand morally, whatever that thing was is tainted. It's tainted. Yeah. I can't ever watch it again without being like,
like a Kevin Spacey movie or something.
No, seriously. That's another prime example. Just like an amazing, he was an amazing actor. He had some of the most iconic characters ever created. Once he started making those fucking weird Christmas video threats, I was like, I don't even want to watch this again. Did you see those? Oh my God, dude, are you fucking kidding me? We're watching this right now. Hang on one second.
Reaction video.
These are so fucked. So, okay, there's going to be a little bit of a conspiracy train here. So, Kevin Spacey, he gets fired from House of Cards, and they reshift that whole show because the actor, he was in Star Trek, Anthony something, claimed that when he was, I don't remember.
That's a I'm just kidding.
What was I saying? Kevin Spacey abused him at a party when he was 14 years old. And he was a young kid in Hollywood and he got abused by Kevin Spacey.
Yeah.
Kevin
Spacey. Heard about that whole situation.
Right. That's why they kicked him off of House of Cards. That's why that's what canceled his career. And then after that, a bunch of other people started coming out. But then also after that, a couple people who were named in the suits against him died in like mysterious circumstances or suicides or something like that. And then consecutively, year after year, let me see if I can even find this shit. Hang on a second. Christmas, Kevin Spacey. I think he did 2, maybe 3.
What, he's like making threats at people?
Dude, it is just, oh my God, it is so fucking beyond fucked. Okay, here we go. This is so, Clint, dude, I cannot believe I didn't show you this or that you haven't independently seen it. I'm so happy that I am the person who's fucking showing this to you right now. This is fucking ridiculous. He's been fired. He's been totally canceled. And then Christmas, he releases this. Oh, hang on a second here. My fucking internet's gonna. Dude, it's called Let Me Be Frank.
I thought his name was Kevin. No, sorry.
Frank Underwood, buddy. Come on. This is, I don't know what's going on with my internet right now, but for some reason
you're streaming buffering too much.
I guess. Yeah, I've got too many streams. Here we go. We don't need to watch all these. I'll just show you
I've just never seen this before.
This one, there are some veiled threats. Then the next one, he dials up the veiled threats. And then the third one, it has kind of gone off the rails. Even the production quality of the thing goes down. Like this was after he had first been canceled. So he still had
like the final one. He's like, okay, nobody wants to help me anymore. I'm just going to do it all myself.
Yeah, right. No, seriously. He had enough people that were still standing around him at this point.
Even his face, like looking at the camera, is just
he hilarious. Looks so worn out.
I know what you want. Oh, sure, they may have tried to separate us, but what we have is too strong. It's too powerful. I mean, after all, we shared everything, you and I.
Is that how he really talks?
My deepest, darkest.
No, he's being Frank Underwood.
I showed you exactly what people are capable.
Let Me Be Frank. He had just been fired from House of Cards.
I never watched that show.
Okay, so he plays this character named Frank Underwood, who's loosely based off of.
I was going to say, I had no idea his voice sounded like that.
No. Some say there has been a murder in Savannah. No,
yeah.
Some people say that Frank's character was based loosely off of Bill Clinton, but he plays this character, and he had just been fired from House of Cards. They remove him from the next season. And they were like in the middle of shooting it. They kill him off hilariously. And so this is his retort.
Love. I shocked you with my honesty, but mostly I challenged you and made you think. And you trusted me, even though you knew you shouldn't. So we're not done, no matter what anyone says. And besides, I know what you want. You want me back. Of course, some believed everything and had just been waiting with bated breath to hear me confess it all. They're just dying to have me declare that everything said is true and that I got what I deserved. Wouldn't that be easy if it was all so simple? Only you and I both know it's never that simple, not
So who the fuck
I'm gonna
cares?
have to watch
like,
this. Dude,
bro, you really do.
That's
you really do.
real
But wait. So then next year, like nothing. We don't hear anything from Kevin Spacey because no one gives a fuck about him anymore.
And it's on Christmas Day when he posts these.
I'm pretty sure it was like either on Christmas Day or Christmas Eve or right around Christmas. So this is the next one. And the production quality has gone down a little bit, but it's still, reasonably high.
You didn't really think I was going to...
Oh, this goddamn internet, buddy. Too many streams, buddy. Too many streams.
You didn't really think I was going to miss the opportunity to wish you a Merry Christmas, did you?
What a fucking psychopath, dude.
And I'm grateful to have my health back.
Because he hasn't been in like anything. He's been in no shows, no nothing. He's just done, right?
Blacklisted, done. Yeah. And this is the last one that came out a year ago. We'll see if another dude, another one might come out this year. Dude, we're still in line to receive one.
If this other one comes out, we're gonna analyze it for sure.
Now
that I know about this, I'll look into it and we'll talk about it.
No, dude. You have to watch these because they're just so obnoxious. And this one is just it's honestly, this one's pathetic. Like they're all weird. They're all creepy. They're all unsettling. They're all the wrong fucking move for Kevin Spacey to make after coming out of this. But this one's just sad.
What will Christmas Eve be without a message from me? That's right. What will Christmas Eve be without a message from me? Look, this past year, listen, a lot of people have reached out to me this past year and have shared their own struggles. And my ability to be there for them has really only been possible because of my own difficulties. And while it's been a privilege to offer support, I have to say, frankly, it's also been beyond my abilities, and it's bigger than me. Because, heartbreakingly, so many have talked about things having gotten so bad for them that they've contemplated taking their own lives. And that's enough for me to want to take an entirely different approach this year, to acknowledge their pain, and say to anyone out there who's struggling or contemplating that idea, please do not take that step. If you're standing in a place that you can no longer remain standing, if you're suffering, if you need help, if you feel guilt or shame, if you're struggling with your identity, if your back's up against the wall, or if you feel that there is no path for you, whatever your situation, I promise you there is a path. And that at this time, during this holiday and beyond,
he's walking on it.
Even if you don't feel it, there are people out there who understand and who can help, because you are not alone. And so I just want to wish everyone a Merry Christmas, a great 2021. and say to all those out there who might be suffering, it gets better. It does get better. Happy holidays, everyone.
So that one doesn't seem cryptic. That just seems like hey, I know what it's like to feel canceled. If you're canceled, don't kill yourself.
It does seem like a very pathetic plea for woe is me, but it becomes a veiled threat when people who were charging him with a sex crime die mysteriously of suicide.
Oh, see, I didn't even know about that. Yeah,
this is why I was trying to break this down in order, and I'm really pissed off that
the stream is fucked.
Let me see if I can get either of these two to load, because these two, he's straight up making threats. He's like, if you think you're gonna fucking come out and ruin my reputation, you better be prepared.
Why don't we? Because we just hit an hour. Let's hold.
Yeah. Let's hold.
Let's
reconvene on this.
Let's jump back in on this shit. Because nothing gets me in the holiday spirit like
a creepy, cryptic,
veiled threat holiday videos
from Kevin Spacey. A burnout canceled actor. Yeah. And he looks so haggard too. He just looks so haggard in those. Like, you can tell he's just like done. I'm over it. I've stopped caring.
You think he lives in Florida?
It
looked like Florida.
He and that's where a lot of that's where the lake. That's where a lot of sexual criminal offenders do end up. So wouldn't surprise me if he's been relegated to a small neighborhood.
Well,
a specific neighborhood. Okay. I had a special request to play out on.
Yeah, let's go out.
Clint, give us a little backstory here.
Look, so I know we talked about a bunch of shit, like just weird Nazi stuff in the news for no fucking reason, some fucking reason, whatever. But one thing is for sure, fucking Nazi, ain't about that shit. If you're at a show with me, you can get the fuck out. And Modern Grievance, our record label, just put out a split featuring a band from Sweden called Bleach Drinker. Is a cover of another kind of legendary Swedish like crust hardcore band called Discanto. But Bleach Drinker put out this awesome cover of Kungen är Nazist, which is Swedish for the king is a Nazi, and it's about just taking down tyrannical Nazi pieces of shit. And we got tapes and CDs available if you're into it. If not, just stream that shit, play it. Have fun.
That's amazing. And that's our show, everybody. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next week. Don't support them. Don't support them if they're pieces of shit.
Bye-bye.
See you later.